do, didn't you? We go back and we watch the tapes of yesteryear, and we listen to people spin these things and try to make us believe that somehow or another the Annie Blue will do this. Somehow or another, this magical, aura, this like gassy like fart covering that keeps them protected from anything wrong. The Annie Blue will do. And you go back to the Obama era, and I watch time after time. I rewatch some of these old video clips, and I watch Obama so stately, got the cool Stetson on, everything, sitting there talking about, we got to eat our peas. We're going to take out a credit card from the People's Republic of China. That's immoral. We've got all this nonsense. But Obama's not running for president right now. But Joe Biden is. And let me tell you something. Joe Biden, the father of the crime bill, the father of the gaffe, the father of the most racist things I've ever heard from a person in office before. He's a well-spoken Negro. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is just about as bad a dude as they come by. But what I did to make this point really crystal clear is I got a video here. And I got this video contrasting Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And it's very important to understand the context here. Most of our movement still really genuinely has no idea about economics. They have zero idea. It's a travesty how economically inept our movement is. And I say that with sadness and sorrow, not derision. Depressing levels of idiocy are rampant in our movement. And you see someone like Joe Biden get up there and their ears are clogged off. They don't care what he says. They don't care what he does. The only problem is that the things he's advocating for really hurt people. They're not benign things. They're not just a difference of opinion. We are talking about really, really bad stuff. And we're talking about the kind of stuff that prevents any form of a progressive agenda whatsoever. We're talking about Boris-level conservatism, which probably looks a lot more like a progressive in the United States these days than what passes as a progressive. I mean, Bernie Sanders is treated as some lunatic left when he couldn't be further from that if he tried. Bernie's the only one with a coherent end-to-end plan. I mean, end-to-end plan, folks. Not just some cookie-cutter thing, not piecemeal, end-to-end. But Joe Biden has been one of the most ridiculously conservative people the United States Senate, government, presidency, vice presidency, whatever, has ever seen. And he's proud of it. We're not talking about like kind of proud of it. Forget his treatment of Anita Hill, where he made Trump look like a gentleman. Forget his treatment about any other thing. Forget his super predators nonsense and his trying to be tough on crime crap. I want you to understand in the context of economics how absolutely evil the man is. We're not talking about just doesn't understand. We're talking about a man who spent 8 years as a sidekick in the White House, a gaffe machine, who happens to know the inner workings of government and still bastardizes it in a way that can only serve to hurt the people. And you look at the demographic data, and you look at all the different groups that are in deep, deep trouble, that have needs that far exceed anything that even Sanders is advancing right now. And you look, and these people have unfortunately embraced Joe Biden in epic numbers. Joe Biden, who in no way, shape, or form is a friend of the African American community, who is in no way, shape, or form a friend of any other minority community, who is no way a friend of non-wealthy people. He's a really, really bad guy on every level. I talked to a good friend last night about this. And he said, you know, back when I met Joe the first couple times, Joe was charismatic. He had a special aura about him. And that special aura, when you were near him, really magnetized you to him, and you overlooked a lot of his bullshit because of it. But I want to tell you straight up, he said, man, oh man, this guy who you're looking at now doesn't even have the veil of charisma anymore. I mean, there's something wrong with Joe Biden. But his politics, they haven't changed. His economics, they haven't changed. Joe Biden still wants balanced budgets. Joe Biden's proudly conservative, fiscal conservative, proudly wants to cut Social Security, proudly wants to stop spending on all the entitlements, proudly wants to gut the social safety net. Now, I want you to hear this, and you make up your own mind.
I mean, whatever happened to that old conservative discipline about paying for what you spend? I'm up for re-election this year, and I'm going to remind everybody what I did at home, which is going to cost me politically. When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. Somebody has to tell me in here how we're going to do this hard work without dealing with any of those sacred cows.
The balanced budget amendment approach being brought forth by the Republican majority within the context of asking, as I understand it, for a $60 billion increase in military spending and major tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country leads all serious economists to the conclusion that the balanced budget amendment will be a disaster for working people, for elderly people, for low-income people. It will mean, in my view, the destruction of the Social Security system as we know it. It will mean savage cuts in Medicare, in Medicaid, in the opportunity of young people to get grants and loans to go to college. It will mean major cutbacks in nutrition programs for hungry children. It will tamper with the unemployment compensation program, as we heard earlier. It will be a disaster for the vast majority of the people in this country. The economy is not booming. The standard of living of middle America and working people is in decline. Unemployment is far higher than the official statistics indicate. It seems to us to be very foolhardy to take away an option of the federal government that we may wish to use, which says that when our physical and human infrastructure is in collapse, when our mass transportation system is in so much need, when our roads are falling apart, when our bridges are collapsing, that it does not make sense to take away the option that the United States Congress may wish to use, and which the Progressive Caucus believes is necessary to rebuild the physical and human infrastructure of America.
I mean, whatever happened to old...
No. You got to see this side by side. Now, most of these people in our alternative media have no interest whatsoever. Folks, they have no interest in understanding macroeconomics, which are the things that drive everything Joe Biden wants to cut. They have no interest whatsoever. We couldn't get me on one of these guys' shows to save their lives. They would run for cover. They have no interest whatsoever in addressing these concerns. They'd rather just say, oh, come up with some sensationalist crap for their shows and get everybody liking and throwing $5 on them in a super chat instead of actually addressing these things. But I want to tell you something. Joe Biden is all for balancing the budget. He's all for cutting Social Security. He's all for cutting all entitlements. This is a guy who relishes PAYGO, which is a Nancy Pelosi stronghold. This guy is a really, really bad guy. And his entire economic package is 1,000% neoliberal. Joe Biden is a bad man. Very, very bad man. But getting past some of the more character judgments, if you will, let's talk about Social Security. Let's talk about balanced budgets. Let's talk about the very difference between he and Bernie Sanders. And maybe even look across the pond a little bit to get a further understanding of some of the concerns that Brexit and Remain and the real battle that was going on that people didn't fully understand. So, when you balance the budget at the federal level, you're fundamentally saying that your federal government is run like a household. Like a household. The currency issuing federal government should be run like the non-currency issuing, currency using household, like you and me. Well, we went out to work, we earned $50. We want to spend $60. Well, we don't have $60, we have $50. Well, the federal government neither has nor doesn't have dollars. It creates dollars every time it spends. So what's the point of Joe Biden trying to balance budgets and reduce spending? Think about this. He wants to keep it status quo. And when you and I spend money on our cable bill, on our electric bill, on our car payment, on a payday loan, that money goes up, 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 goes right into a fat cat's pocket, and then they invest it. Then it starts just circulating around the financial markets. You don't see pay going up for anyone, not at all. So what he's advocating for is austerity. What he's advocating for is eliminating social spending and eliminating the money that is required to keep the economy flowing. Every recession that you can see in the U.S. history has been brought on by reductions in spending, reducing the deficit, trying to pay down the debt. Because what does that mean, actually? It means eliminating money from the economy. It means extracting money out and destroying it. But the people at the top, they don't care. They got plenty. It's the people at the bottom. And there's no place to replenish it. So Social Security, it's the same thing. Why in the world would he want to reduce spending on Social Security? Why would he want to cut Social Security? Every dollar in Social Security is a new dollar. You may pay into it, but it's really a transaction. It's just like a check mark on a piece of paper somewhere. It's not like your money is sitting there. Your money's deleted. The federal government doesn't hold on to your money. That's not how it works. When it spends money into existence, it taxes it out of existence. And when it comes back in the form of a tax, it's deleted. Social Security is a tax. You're not paying it into a piggy bank. There's no little piggy bank sitting there with your money in it. That's not how it works. So what is Joe's game plan here? What is his end game for wanting to cut Social Security? What is his end game for wanting to cut other entitlements? Why is he proud of being a fiscal conservative, a boll weevil, a Dixiecrat? Why is he proud of that? Why is that something he thinks is good? Why do people today support a man like that? Why do people in minority communities support a person like that? This is the scourge of neoliberalism. This is the mind fuck that neoliberalism has done to all of us. You've got Donald Trump sitting there, and he's as gross as can be. And he just says stupid things. And you say, you know what? Anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump. The bar is low. Anybody but Trump. And that vote blue, no matter who, people come out of the woodwork and go, what about Buttigieg? Hey, another fucking neoliberal Republican. Why not, right? What's the difference? He's got better bedside manners than Trump. He's got to be an improvement then, damn it. Vote blue. You can almost see Summer from freaking Napoleon Dynamite going, vote for Summer. That's the idiocy prevalent in the vote blue, no matter who, the vote blue sycophant's mind. Joe Biden is a Republican, and he's worse than a Republican. He's a mean-spirited fucker with a smile, a corrupt bastard. And so when a guy like that gets a lot of attention, a lot of potential votes, a lot of people could get hurt. Just like a lot of people got hurt under the Obama administration. See, this isn't Republican or Democrat. This is fucking neoliberal. This is the privatization gang. This is the gang of reducing public benefits, reducing public spending. It's the entire game, folks. That's why we talk about it here. Why the fuck don't they talk about this elsewhere? Why are they busy worrying about stupid gossip things? And why do they get so many likes and clicks? For fuck's sake. No, you see, Social Security could be expanded because, originally there was supposed to be cost of living increases in there. People haven't seen those cost of living increases. Do you think it's because Social Security's broke? Do you think we need to raise FICA higher so that we can pay for Social Security? Is that what you think? That's the burden of a progressive that has been awakened to understanding how the economic system works. You know that we could actually eliminate FICA and simultaneously expand Social Security to include all kinds of different attributes in society that we would like to see covered. Social Security already covers survivor benefits. It already covers retirement. It already covers a lot of disabilities. And we could literally eliminate FICA altogether, which is one of the most regressive taxes. Regressive to the poor, regressive to the people that really need Social Security. They believe they've paid in. And damn it, that's their money. And that's the hook. And by maintaining that lie, what you end up doing is you prepare the runway for the bad guys like Joe Biden to say we should privatize Social Security. Let the markets do it. You see, what happens is markets, they burn out, man. They run their course. They've milked every bit of extracted wealth they can milk out of it, and then they got to expand. That's why they were doing all those CDOs during the great global financial crisis. That's why they were doing all kinds of other freaking stacked on top of black market, on top of shadow banking, on top of all kinds of corruption. Because they run out of markets and they got to find new ways to package old things so they can make money on them once again. And so by eliminating Social Security as a public work and putting it to privatization, now somebody can profit off of your Social Security account other than you. Think about it. It's all about expanding markets once again. All about expanding markets. And look, already in the UK, the first words out of many of these Tories' mouths are, now we can get down to the business of eliminating the NHS. Their first thought is getting rid of public spending, getting rid of public services, get rid of entitlements. Now, instead of doing it this way, Bernie Sanders has stepped forward. Here's the contra. He's looking for citizens' benefits, making housing a right, making health care a right, making education a right, investing in infrastructure, investing in a Green New Deal. You can't do these bold things if you are economically illiterate. If you're the dumbass that thinks we got to raise FICA to save Social Security, you're the people they're counting on to be dumb as a box of rocks. You've been fooled. You've been duped. And they did it on purpose, and they are evil, folks. You know, back in the day when FDR came up with this stuff, he was doing his dead level best to try and get everyone to feel like they were buying in. There was a whole bunch of things going on at the time. And you know what? The logic at the time made sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. The lie is up. The gig is up. The MMT community is out here calling the spade a spade. And so if you don't understand MMT, if you're not willing to put the time in, you're not willing to accept it, then what you get is Joe Biden. So for all those people out there, fist in the air, running off and chasing Tulsi around, chasing Yang around, you're building the Biden movement. You don't even realize it. You're so cool, you're oblivious to it. You don't want to talk about economics. You want to talk about petrodollars, Jimmy? You're building the Biden movement and you don't even realize it. It may suck to have to take a step back and not be the top dog for a minute because you got to learn the econ. But you know what, though? If you don't learn this, you're part of the problem. It's not anything to debate about there. You are part of the problem if you refuse to get this. You're a big part of the problem, too, because the progressive movement counts on progressives to get this shit. We have never been able to defend major programs with how to pay for it, ever. And every step along the way, Bernie Sanders is getting attacked by the cool kids on the left, by the freaking scumbags on the right, and by the centrists. The latest smear tactic is the Jew is an anti-Semite. Interesting, huh? The most disgusting attack yet, almost as bad as red baiting and McCarthyism. They're calling the Jewish man an anti-Semite. What a freaking disgusting, bigoted smear. It doesn't take much to find it. But the problem is that Bernie Sanders is literally the only one. And there's this little cool kids group out there, the lefty cool kids that want to talk about Russiagate, want to talk about this, want to talk about that. You know, Bernie Sanders has to walks through the door, and they go, Russiagate. And Bernie's like, oh, yeah, hey, Russiagate. Yeah, good to see you guys. I'm going back here to work on a Green New Deal. Russiagate, yeah, whatever. Okay. You know, I wish we were in a better place in society. I wish that the people that understood economics could just go out there boldly and talk. But, you know, I think there might be 1% of society right now that has any clue that the United States government is monetarily sovereign. It creates dollars at will. Might be 1%. The rest of you all have heard it, but you're too cool. You just can't handle it. You want to go run off in your Sandinistas this, Joji, but, you know, Bay Area for that. You guys have your public bank. You don't want to hear none of this stuff. You're just too cool. You're above it all. You're better than that. You're too good. Too good to learn about Social Security not being broke. You're too good to learn how to pay for a Green New Deal because, damn it, you're going to put together a network of public banks to do it. I mean, this is why things like Brexit matter. Because what happens is that many people on the left buy into myths and legends, or they get caught up in identity politics, and they take the whole train right off the tracks. And the right wing's just sitting there going, yeah, give them a couple minutes, they're going to implode any second now. These dumb fuckers are going to go do something stupid. Let's go ahead and wait for them. Nah, you ain't even got to do nothing to them. They'll do it to themselves. Pete Peterson Foundation laughing all the way as the Democrats talk about returning to fiscal responsibility and we must pay for these programs. It's illogical. Of course, we've got to reduce the debt. It's a national crisis. Fucking morons. Fucking morons. And that's the Joe Biden that many people support today. You old timers out there, my friends, my boomer friends, you folks that are woke, that get MMT. Whew, boy, oh boy, there's a lot of folks that are in that silver certificate 10% off coffee club that are all in for Biden, all in for conservatives, all in for neoliberalism, and think old Bernie is a commie. And it's up to you guys to really, really elevate those conversations over coffee or wherever it is you go. Because I can tell you right now, we don't stand a chance if we don't break through the boomer and minority wall that is there. Huge, huge, huge African-American demographic supports Joe Biden. Part of it, I'm sure, has something to do with the fact that he was vice president under the first African-American president in the United States history in Obama. I think part of it is that they have just been totally swept up in being a Democrat because, my goodness, when you are a marginalized community, you look for people that will support you. And it doesn't matter whether it's true or not, unfortunately, there is a perception. And this is what we're up against. Deeply ingrained perceptions that are freaking erroneous as hell. And they're lethal to the very groups that believe in this stuff. You know, all those folks that are older, that are retired, that are on Social Security, that aren't getting their fair share, that are really struggling. It's completely unnecessary. You could have had huge bumps in your Social Security long ago. But this neoliberal mindset of the Bidens and Obamas and the Clintons and so forth, and the Bushes and the Trumps, because they're all in it to win it. They're all neoliberals, every last one of them. They have been making sure that you believe that the nation is broke and that we're all in dire shape. We've got to reduce spending and reduce deficits or we all will die. It's immoral. We'll pass it on to our grandkids, and there's the heartstring. They've lied to you, telling you there's this debt that's got to be paid off. They've lied to you saying we've got to pay for these programs by raising taxes while simultaneously blowing the roof off for the military while cutting the wealthy taxes. Folks, this should be so obvious. You should be ashamed that you haven't gotten this shit, but it's not an accident that you haven't. They have done this through media. They have done this through the education system. They have done this through every possible means. And then because you have a trust in your political party, your Democratic Party, your Republican Party, but we're talking to the Democrats mainly right now. Because you just have this faith, it doesn't matter what they do. You'll sign away your life to let them privatize Social Security because, after all, we have to make a grand bargain with the Republicans. Bullshit. Bernie rightfully pointed out that this would drastically hurt the poor. Bernie has Stephanie Kelton and his team. Now, if you don't know who Stephanie Kelton is, well, shame on you. She was around when he was the head of the Senate Budget Committee. She was the chief economist for the Senate budget team. She was also his economist during his first run for presidency. She was also a senior fellow at the Sanders Institute. And now she's his economic advisor for the second run. And you look at the bold policy proposals out there, and they are all founded in MMT, from the federal job guarantee to Medicare for all to a Green New Deal to eliminating student debt and free college to paid family and medical leave to housing as a right. You can't get there taxing your way there. And when you hear Joe Biden talking about, hey, whatever happened to good old fiscal conservatism? Well, too many people die from that, Joe. And as long as there's breath in my lungs, I'm going to fight back like you wouldn't believe. I don't care if it bores the piss out of the progressive community to learn the truth. I don't care if they want to run off and hear gossip alternative media instead of the truth. I don't care if they're swept away by stupid bullshit. What happened to the $21 trillion with the Pentagon? And they don't understand it. They go, oh, let's go chase gold dollars. Let's go talk about Gaddafi. Let's go talk about petrodollars. I don't care if they get swept away by bullshit rather than the truth. It's damning. What I care about is we have enough of us learning, and each one teach one, to prevent any further death from fiscal conservatism. We have got to unite in truth around the economics, because it fundamentally is directly tied to every single issue. There's not one issue that this isn't directly pertinent for. But yet you can't get these other alternative media that are supposed to be bastions of progressivism. You can't get them to get a guy like me on their show. You can't get them to cover these issues. You can't get them to stay with this knowledge when they have someone like Dr. Kelton come on their show. And then they go back to petrodollar bullshit. Folks, we've got so much at stake right now over this, and it is no longer funny. It never was. It never was. To balance the federal budget would require either severe cuts in spending or severe tax increases. Now, let me ask you a question. How successful has anyone been at wide-ranging tax increases? Bueller. So not only do tax increases in no way, shape, or form pay for programs, programs are all self-funded. Every single program, every dollar spent by the federal government is a brand new dollar. Every one of them. They're an inch. They're a pound. They're a unit of measure. They're freely created. They're not my precious. We didn't dig dollars up from the ground. They're a tax credit, nothing more. So when you ask how we're going to pay for it, Congress will authorize spending as it does for the military and every other thing other than for the people. Doesn't it make you really angry? Folks, if you don't know this stuff, just give me a second here. I'm talking to the people that already know this stuff. Doesn't it piss you off to no end that you'll have these conversations with people and they'll go, oh, wow, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Totally get it, man. 5 seconds later, you turn around and you see them like, it's almost like the little kid picking their nose and eating it when you're not looking. yeah, man, we gotta impeach Trump. We gotta tax them to pay for these things, man. The reason why we don't have nice things because we keep sending our tax dollars to Israel or whatever. They don't understand. They don't want to understand. They refuse to understand. You can break it down 1,000 days in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And they will hold on for dear life to this bullshit. And you wonder why we never see any progress in this country. You wonder why the left fails. I don't. I see it clear as day. You got the too cool for school kids running off there chasing conspiracies. No actionable anything. I mean, none. It's infotainment, man. It's like reading a James Bond novel. Oh, my God. Did you see that? Oh, my God. Dun, 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 doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, dun, 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 dun. They want to be entertained. They don't want to change the world. They want to be entertained. And then you got the other folks that they don't want to hear anything. They don't care. Man, they show up to the precincts. They register voters. They got their pork pie hats on, their red, white, and blue everything, and they're wearing their buttons everywhere, and they are proud party sycophants. They don't care about the issues. Their job is simply get you to vote blue no matter who. Almost as bad as the cool kids running off chasing conspiracies and distracting the movement. The other people that don't want to hear anything about the issues. Yeah. Hey, just can you just vote for Biden? That kind of bullshit. That's the other crapola that we've got to contend with. And you wonder why we don't see progress in America. You wonder why. Why do you wonder? Look no further than the cool kids chasing squirrels and the freaking dodo birds chasing, hey, just vote blue. I mean, that level of freaking shallow, it's like it's about the only amount of water that couldn't drown someone in. It's that shallow. Heck, you couldn't even get a syringe of it to clean out your sinus passages. It's that shallow. So what are we going to do? Well, I can tell you what I want you to do, but it's just me, right? I want you to unplug from the infotainment. I want you to stop doing brain dead rote activities, and I want you to start thinking. And I want you to then bring your friends in and make them think with you. I want you to wake people up. I want you to become human alarm clocks. I want you to become warriors for truth. It does no good to be woke, think you're woke, but be peddling neoliberal lies about economics. Well, the only thing federal about the Federal Reserve is the name. Oh, I'm so cool. So cool. At some point in time, you've got to want to save lives more than you want to be cool. At some point in time, the balance has got to tip to saving lives. That's where the break point's got to be. You got to stop wanting to be entertained, and you got to start wanting to save lives. Because otherwise, the Joe Bidens of the world, they're going to eliminate everything, and you will have voted blue. You'll get your Democrat. You'll get your non-Trump. But Trump is going to beat him if that's the case, by the way. Why is that? Because hate beats dipshittery every time. It's a stronger drug. But love through the Bernie Sanders team, where we're working for even the bad guys, we're trying to even get them health care, trying to get them student debt elimination, trying to get them housing as a right, trying to get them a federal job guarantee, trying to get them health care, even people you don't like. There's only one guy doing that, and that's Bernie Sanders. And he's got a movement behind him. But can the movement defend his economic policies? Can the movement defend his programs? Most of them, I get in these chats. I'm not joking. I get in these threads and I watch. And I weep. I get sad. Because these people are proud peacocks, baby. Oh, we got a proud peacock. Proud peacock. Yes. Yes. Then do it. They're out there puffing up, talking about how Bernie's going to raise taxes to a Wall Street speculation tax, and it's going to pay for this, and it's going to pay for that. Folks, doesn't matter what he says. He's saying that for the illiterate out there. Every single program, every single dollar spent will be a new dollar, whether Bernie says it or whether Trump says it. Doesn't matter. The system is the system is the system. Taxes delete currency. Congressional authorization brings it into existence. Congress passes a law. It's signed into law by the president. Instructions are sent to the Federal Reserve, who marks accounts up. Where'd the dollars come from? Where they dig up from a mountain? Hey, yo, Joe, can you bring over a mountain of money so we can put it into this account here? No, it's just keystrokes. How much did Congress authorize? 10 trillion? Okay. Tink, 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 tink. Deposits made, sir. That's it. That's all it is, damn it. But you're going to go run around. No, I got this meme, and it tells you exactly how Bernie's plans are going to be paid for. I'm telling you, it's going to be a tax hike here. It's a 6% tax hike there. And it's a this, it's a that. Folks, that's not it. Those are offsets. They're doing that for optical purposes only. I want you to understand something. Every time Bernie Sanders offers up a sin tax, a Pigovian tax, more appropriately, but a sin tax, like Wall Street speculation tax. The Wall Street speculation is a behavior that they want to eliminate because they don't think it has value. So by eliminating Wall Street speculation, by applying a tax to it, they're hoping to curb that behavior. Well, when they curb a behavior by taxing it, what happens to the revenue from a curbed behavior? Ding, 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 ding. Anybody got it? Hello?
If it's a behavioral tax, doesn't that mean that if they stop doing the behavior that the revenue shrinks up?
Yes, it does. Give that man a prize. Well,
actually, sir, I'm a little boy. I'm about 7 years old, and it was so much common sense, but my mom and dad can't get it. Why can't they get it? Because they listen to MSNBC, and they listen to CNN, and they think vote blue no matter who. But I'm a little boy, and I'm smarter than them.
Yes, you fucking are, dude. Way to go. You're a fucking genius compared to them. Now go educate your mom and dad. Tell them if they don't do it, you're going to make them eat their peas. Tell them you're going to break out that belt. Snack, snack. You're going to walk down the hall with your patent leather shoes on, heels as hard as can be, and kick that door down and whip that little boy's butt, right? Oh, that would be your parents' butt. Because the good old days are harkening back when they had discipline and stuff, right? Folks, I'm telling you right now, if we don't learn that every dollar is a brand new dollar with these programs, you're never going to have a big enough dream to save us from climate change. You're never going to have a big enough dream to stop the levees from breaking in New Orleans. You're never going to have a big enough dream to fix the dams around the country and fix the power grid and get us high-speed rail. You're never going to have the ability to pay for free college or student debt elimination. You're never going to have the dream big enough for our survival. Why is that? Because you are stuck in a neoliberal paradigm. You refuse to understand that they're trying to eliminate social services to build markets for private interests. And you've been sold a bill of goods that that's somehow or another a good thing. It's not. You've been sold a bill of goods to believe the government can't do these things right, but in reality, what they've done is they got you fooled because it's like a really big, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money. Well, who gives a shit? If it costs a lot of money to make it right, you spend a lot of money and you make it fucking right. It's a simple shit. Well, we got to do some complex math here, man. We got to figure it out, man, with this financial modeling system, man. We're going to do ISLM, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to really, really try and figure out the right balance of interest rates and monetization, and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, they're going to save the world with Bitcoin next, right? Folks, you got to want to save lives. You got to want it, or you keep chasing bullshit. That's your choices. And they are mutually exclusive. You either want to save lives or you want to be entertained. And you've got to pick, because the devil's about there. I mean, the devil is right there. Joe Biden, Mr. South, Mr. Boll Weevil, Mr. The South will rise again, Mr. Anita Hill and his pubic hairs and all the other shit to go with it. Mr. Oh, God, your hair smells terrific. Gee, your hair smells terrific. Oh, yes, right there. Mr. Joe Biden, folks, is ready to balance your budgets, cut your benefits, and tell you to love it. Because it's all in your best interest that we do this just so we don't bankrupt the nation and pass on debt to our children. Just like Sarah Palin. Joe Biden is Sarah Palin. For God's sake, that's the answer. Joe Biden is Sarah Palin. He just wears a fucking wig. They're the same person. The same person. Don't let these people distract you. Fucking dig in and learn. Start chastising the shit out of alternative media that refuses to learn this stuff. I'm serious. No more free passes, man. I'm done with it. I'm so over it. I'm so over people chasing likes and clicks. Fucking make them cover the real shit. We really need this, damn it. And the mainstream's not going to do it. So it leaves you alternative media, and that means they got to roll up their sleeves and fucking learn. And yeah, I'm pissed. Because my life is dependent on them not striving for likes and clicks, but striving for efficacy and trying to do something right. You goddamn right I'm pissed. And you should be too, because your lives are in the balance while they play games too. You think I'm fucking with you? I assure you, I am not fucking with you. Bernie 2020 is a huge deal to all of us. Not just because of the man, but because of the entire mission, the platform, the movement, the whole enchilada. I strongly suggest you take a moment and learn modern monetary theory. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives, Real Progress in Action, and Macro and Cheese, and asking you to please donate to all of us, please. Please help us so we can get out there and get the word out, because I'm telling you, they're stifling our reach. They're blocking us. They're trimming it down. They're shadow manning us. I'm in Facebook jail until February of 2020. Okay? They are doing a number on us, and we need your help. Volunteer, donate, you name it. Again, I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives in Action. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.